After watching the Apple event last night about the upcoming release of the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max, I have probably decided that it's not worth upgrading, and why you probably should not do it neither. I would rather get myself a iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, let me tell you why. Okay, today we're going to talk about the video features and the camera capabilities that you have on the upcoming iPhone 16 Pro and the Pro Max version. When the iPhone 15 Pro Max came out 1 year ago, it was the first time that we could film in Apple ProRes and with the log profile, which is fantastic, especially if you are a little bit more serious content creator. And the reason why I went for the Max version, the 15 Pro Max, was because of the 5x zoom, which I absolutely love. If we compare the iPhone 16 Pro and the Max version, they are very, very similar. Now you don't need to upgrade to the Max version to get yourself the 5x zoom, because that is available on the standard Pro version as well. So you're gonna save yourself a couple of $100 there. And there's been a lot of videos around, saying that 5x zoom is a little bit, well, it is not as good as the main camera, but the image that you get is so unique, and it looks just a little bit more like a proper normal DSLR or mirrorless camera, because you compress the background a bit further, so it does look more like it's shot on, let's say, film, or the word that no one likes anymore, it looks a little bit more cinematic. New in the iPhone 16 Pro is that you can film in Dolby Vision. Now, this sounds very cool on the paper, however, are we going to use it? We have seen some examples, like a music video shot in 4K Dolby Vision, and yes, it looks absolutely stunning. But I reckon that for us mere mortals, it's not going to look that good. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, what was the budget for that music video in this case? What budget did they have for lighting? It's the rain effects and all of that. I mean, you can't just use an iPhone 16 Pro and expect to have that kind of results unless you have a huge budget. And if you have a big budget, you would be, in my point of view, rather daft if you film it with an iPhone 16. Get yourself a normal camera instead. After using the iPhone 15 Pro Max for a year, you cannot compare the iPhone with a proper mirrorless camera. There is a difference. I have made a video if you want to check that one out there, but watch that one afterwards. And the reason why that it doesn't really matter if there's Dolby Vision or not is because the sensor on the iPhones are just a little bit too small. So I believe that having the Dolby Vision capability is more like a gimmick instead of a real, what can I say, like a real tool for a more serious content creator. If you're a bit more serious, I believe that you would still film in ProRes log, and you can do that also with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So again, I don't see the need of getting the iPhone 16 Pro right now. New in the iPhone 16 Pro is that you can now film in ProRes 120 frames per second in 4K. However, you have to record that to an external device, like an SSD drive, because internally you can't do it. But maybe, like with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the Blackmagic camera app, that opened up the possibility of filming internally in 4K 60 frames per second. That was the max capacity on the 15 Pro Max, but you couldn't do that with the normal iPhone camera app. You had to use the Blackmagic app to film in 60 frames per second 4K. I would not be surprised if Blackmagic kind of unlocks the ability for the iPhone 16 Pro to shoot internally 4K 120 frames per second, but let's see what happens. However, having used the iPhone 15 Pro Max for a year, I have almost never shot in 60 frames per second because the quality is not good enough compared to a mirrorless camera. Also new on the iPhone 16 Pro is the wide-angle lens now captures pictures in 48 megapixels compared to, I think it was it 12 on the 15 Pro Max. But again, it's a lens that I almost never use. Okay, you can also now shoot in high resolution macro pictures. That is quite cool. But again, as a content creator and more like a filmmaker, it is an option that I am not gonna use. Apart from that, the battery life is a little bit better on the iPhone 16 Pro version compared to the 15, but it's not too much. New on the iPhone 16 Pro is that you have up here like a intelligent button that makes you switch between maybe taking a picture, filming. There's like a quick mode to film something fast, but again, it's more like a gimmick instead of a, well, it's more like a software thing compared to a hardware thing. And what I would see in a new iPhone, if I had to change my 15 Pro Max, I would be more interested if they had more a hardware upgrade instead of these little software things. That is not going to make a big difference for many of us filmmakers or content creators. Now, if you go to the Apple website and you compare the iPhone 16 Pro Max with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the only difference is basically the Dolby Vision 4K external recording and that you have a higher resolution on the wide angle camera. That's about it. I can't justify updating my 15 Pro Max to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Did I say 16? I hope so. And if I were to upgrade my existing iPhone, for example, if I came from a 13 or 14 Pro, I would, instead of going for the Max version, I would rather go for the normal Pro version, the iPhone 16 Pro, because you have everything that you need in that phone, and there's nothing in the Max version, in my point of view, that justifies spending a couple more $100. But as the iPhone 15 Pro Max is still so good, you can film in Apple ProRes log, I would, in this case, hold out, wait maybe one more year for the 17 version, because it's already rumored that that phone is going to be insane. So if you need to upgrade, go for the iPhone 16 version, the iPhone 16 Pro instead of the Max, because you do have, as mentioned, the 5x zoom already there. You can film in Dolby Vision, or try to find an offer for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. At the end of the day, it's up to you what you want to do with it. Don't just listen to me, check out some other reviews as well. I mean, I haven't tried the iPhone 16 Pro just yet because it's not out yet, but I think I will not buy it. I might change my mind. Subscribe if you want to find out if I buy it or not. I'm not gonna buy it. Might give it to my wife.